We're being told by this government $130 a month is the blowout, quote unquote blowout. Now that says to me they need to cut back $130 million a month. Now, what's that going to look like with this 14 layers we get told about? And we'll find when we play the breakfast story later on, they can't identify what those 14 layers are, but they're telling us it's 14 layers. I'd like to know from you, especially what you're hearing from people at the coalface, what does losing an additional $130 million a month from the New Zealand health system look like, Aisha?
Yeah, well, it will mean cuts to frontline services. There is no way it cannot. It's certainly the case that we could make back office savings and efficiencies in Health New Zealand. That's part of why we abolished 20 different DHBs to make it more efficient. But there is absolutely no way that you can cut that amount of money and not impact services. Second thing is this frontline back office distinction is pretty arbitrary. I mean, I certainly worked in the health system last time National was in government, and we lost our booking clerks. You have to go find your own patient notes. All of those things distract you from your patients and being able to do the things you need to do. So I have no doubt that it will make the lives of clinicians and the care of patients more challenging in our health system.
I know a lot of people who work in the teaching profession, and just to give an example of the front office back room, most teachers that I know personally will say the two people you got to get on board most of all are the receptionist and the caretaker. Because the receptionist will sort out all that stuff behind the scenes that you haven't got time for, and the caretaker will come and clean up the vomit when the kid does it in the classroom. And those two roles are backroom roles. So if they hypothetically were to go, which I'm not saying anyone's suggesting that, but those back office roles were to go, then teachers' jobs immediately become harder. It must be the same in the health system.
Yeah, absolutely. And we should be valuing the contribution that those unsung heroes of the health system make to the care of our patients. I guess the other way in which I'm worried about the right things being said about improving wait times and times in emergency department and so on is all of those targets feed into a very narrow view of the health system, like it's some sort of production line or sausage factory that we shuttle people through as fast as possible, not a place where we come with our incredibly diverse needs and ask for, our humanity to be cared for and our diseases to be treated with expertise. So I think it oversimplifies things into a really sort of neoliberal model where you can just extract costs out of it.
And then you add on top of that, when you're talking about diverse needs, ripping the Treaty of Waitangi requirements out of various things and getting rid of the Māori Health Authority and stuff, and you can just see you don't have to be a genius to see the direction this government wants to take, not just the health system but the country.
And the shame of that, there's a lot of ways in which that's wrong, but one of the things that really, we all saw through COVID, but I had a frontline view as Minister of Health, is much of the innovation in our system is in Māori and Pacific providers. They're arriving on the scene with better funding now, and they're thinking not how has the health system run for 100 years, but how can I solve problems for my whānau, my community in the most effective way. So they're often the best at outreach and the best at using technology in novel ways. So I feel that is a real missed opportunity for us. And the other thing the Māori Health Authority, Te Aka Whaiora, was really great about was that shifting the curve towards prevention. They were all about that. And that's another opportunity that the health reforms really presented, that cost cutting will distract us from. Because when you're cost cutting, all you have money to focus on is that non-deferrable care being the ambulance at the bottom of the cliff.